and welcome to the Buckeye Business Builders Monthly Lunch and Learn. I'm Kent Eiler with Eiler Networking and Computing, and we're your hosts for this event. We'll have a recording of this event available on our YouTube channel, which I'll put in the chat window shortly. Our mission at Buckeye Business Builders is to cultivate a dynamic and supportive business community in Northeast Ohio. We're committed to connecting local professionals, fostering valuable relationships, and providing opportunities for growth and success. Through networking, collaboration, and education, we aim to empower businesses and contribute to the economic vitality of our region. We meet in person on the second and fourth Tuesday from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. at the Northern Ohio Business Center, or the NOBC, located at 5224 Cobblestone Road in Sheffield Village, Ohio, which is across from the parking lot from Sam's Club. We'd love to have you join us in person for our events. Our presenter today is David Andras. David is a seasoned serial entrepreneur with over 25 years of dynamic business acumen across the fitness industry, food and beverage, sales, and management sectors. With a relentless drive for innovation, David has consistently led groundbreaking ventures, carving paths of success in each domain he ventures into. His passion for entrepreneurship is matched only by his dedication to fostering growth and excellence within his ventures. David is a visionary leader, constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible and inspiring others to do the same. David also owns the Northern Ohio Business Center, where we meet on the second and fourth Tuesdays. So we appreciate David for sharing his space with us. After David's presentation, David will be able to answer any questions that you may have. So please enter them in the questions section there of the webinar, and then I'll present them to David after his presentation. So without further ado, here's David.
Hello, and thank you, Kent. I really appreciate this, and I appreciate having the ability to come on and reach some of the individuals that you associate yourself with. And some of those I may have met, and for others I have not. Hopefully I see you soon in one of the co-working centers. But so thank you again very much for having me, Ken. Just a little bit more about in detail of myself kind of helps kind of go through what I'm about to present today is just my background and everything I've done and what has gotten me to this point. I started, like it says, over 25 years ago, was going into college and made it about a year, left out of college because I started with a sales company in environmental products and nutritional products. Wanted to save the world and make money at the same time. So I thought, what better way to do it than working with a company that I believed in. Did that for a little while, really learned how to develop sales strategies and intertwine with people, and really started developing ultimately my course for the rest of my life, and started a lot more self-education, started working with mentors, started understanding how you can conduct business, conduct yourselves, and work with people. From there, part-time, a friend of mine needed some help in his restaurant. So he asked me to manage on the weekends. I started doing that at the time, the biggest sports bar in Cleveland. At the time, we had, I want to say we had over 40 TVs. Every game was always broadcasted simultaneously. It was a big venue, and I did that to help him out. However, about a month later, he decided to up and leave. So the owners of the restaurant they said, "Hey, we need you." So I ended up leaving that sales business to kind of partner with them. They ultimately were partners in the WWE now. Back then it was WWF. So I thought it was an opportunity to put myself in a position to grow even more and understand more, which it did. And that helped me so much more learn kind of details of business. Now I'm learning more inventory costs, labor costs, really operationally how to run a brick and mortar business. It was fantastic because with them, they were partners again with the WWF. So they allowed me to be on phone calls with Vince McMahon, Linda McMahon. It was incredible because they were opening at the same time I was there. They were opening the Las Vegas hotel with WWF and the New York hotel, and they were in charge of the restaurant. So it gave me such an incredible appreciation of what they were doing, how to do those things. With that came a lot of work. So I was there by myself, and I was working over 110 hours a week, from making sure everything was clean, from inventory to labor, make sure everything was covered, learn ins and outs from, how to wash dishes, to open the doors, to bartend, to serve, to you name it. Appreciated all of it, loved it all. But at the same time, I was getting pretty burned out working over 100 hours a week. So I got an opportunity from a patron that was the engineer at one of the biggest hotels in Cleveland for banquet space at the time. He offered me the opportunity to meet with the general manager and interview for a position there. I became the food and beverage director at that location, ultimately the assistant general manager with the hotel. And I learned even more in detail of how to conduct business on a bigger scale. Now I'm learning the room side, obviously more with the food and beverage, working with executive chefs, working how to put banquets together, weddings together. So I just try to take everything in and learn as much as I could. With that came an unhealthy relationship with food. Years ago, I grew up being a competitive swimmer, did martial arts. I was pretty active, being in the restaurant business and around the food and beverage, kind of got completely out of shape to the point where I just wasn't feeling good about myself. I had my first child and I just wanted to get healthy. So I decided to take personal training courses to get myself fit and in shape. I took my certifications for nutrition as well. So the more I learned, the more I lost. And the more I felt better. And I wanted to take that and help other people. I said, if I could do it, I know other people could do it, and I could show people how to do that. So that's what I did. I started as a part-time personal trainer with a company then called Bally Total Fitness, one of the biggest chains at the time. It was the biggest fitness chain in the country. With that, I was doing that part-time, meanwhile, still at the hotel. However, the fitness company, they knew my background in management, and they asked me to come run one of their locations. So saw that as another opportunity and saw that I can help more people and be on a path of more passion. So I decided to take that venture and again, got in there and I did really good at their sales side of things for personal training. They then quickly moved me to another location where it was their biggest location in Cleveland, made that really profitable. From one position, it took me to a supervisor position where I oversaw multiple clubs. And then I did that for about 6 or 7 years. Loved what I do. I love that passion. I love helping people, especially meet those results. Excuse me. At that point, I also learned about corporate politics. And that was one thing I just never felt comfortable with. I would give my heart and soul to everything and do everything I could to help people. But when it came to politics and do things which I didn't think was the benefit of other people that I'm trying to help, it just didn't sit well with me. So I decided to go on my own. I went to an individual I met through the fitness centers, and he had some locations. They were nutrition shops. They were sandwich shops, wrap shops, smoothie shops. And I thought it'd be a good investment to partner up with him. And actually, I took over some locations for him. And I kind of did things on my own, went back to food and beverage. And I owned a couple cafes in downtown Cleveland, right on Euclid, East 4th and East 17th for a couple of years. And unfortunately, at that time, I learned more about business where they started demoing the entire Euclid corridor, and East 17th, they were expanding, and it ultimately slowed my business down to a halt. And at the time, the city wanted to hold us as businesses. They wanted to give us a loan, and we had to pay back at a high interest rate. It just didn't make sense to me. So after a couple of years, I got out of those cafes and I opened one up in downtown Elyria. Was doing well out of there. Again, same type of premise as far as healthy smoothies, healthy salads, healthy sandwiches. Did that for a little while. Also partnered up in a sports bar at the same time in North Ridgeville. And then as I had the sandwich shop, I was broken into, had all my equipment stolen and a lot of product. And unfortunately, it put me in a position to start all over. Took me a few months to go through all the insurance processes. So at that time, I just remained in the sports bar. Another year or so went on. Same type of thing happened. Unfortunately, I was around food and I was around beverage. So got back to being unhealthy again. Couldn't do it anymore. So another full circle, I got back into the fitness industry. I said, I can't do this anymore. I am going right back into what I love to do, my passion, which again is helping people. I help myself first, get back into shape, and I was helping other people. So I started doing some consulting. And then the company took me in. They wanted me to set up their sales platforms and do all their books for them and their operation procedures. And I got hooked up what was called World Gym at the time. It's in Sheffield Village. And this was back in 2012. Well, a couple months later, the owner sold that business to someone, and he wanted me to remain on as a partner because he was out of state. And I was the one that was going to be his man to do everything and guide everything. Had a great time doing that. Unfortunately, about a year later, we didn't see too much eye to eye. And where I saw his struggles, I knew I can overcome those. Ultimately ended up buying him out of the business and took that over as my own. That again, at that time was World Gym. I then opened up another location in Brooklyn, another location in Akron, and had those through the hard times, through COVID and everything. Fortunately, that was another business learning experience, right? For all of us, I'm sure. Recently, I also got into, during COVID, at the time, having 3 locations, it was hard for me just to do all of my work in the fitness center, because even though it's a gym, there's a lot of back end business to that. So I had a lot of HR things I had to deal with, obviously books and the back side of things. I just couldn't get it done in the club. So I took my office back home. Unfortunately, when COVID hit, my kids are home, the dogs are home. I couldn't work out of the house anymore. So I needed a place to go. I needed just an office. But at this time, co-working center wasn't really a thing in Cleveland. So I said, I don't need a big space. I'm looking at these 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 square feet space. I don't need it. I just need a closet to work out of. So I thought, if I'm like this, I'm sure other people are like this as well. What if I opened up a spot, a little smaller space, but had multiple offices where other people can come in and use those offices, and design it where I know I would need a conference room. I know I need a meeting room. I'd like to have a little kitchenette. If I could do that and put it together, would other people follow along with that? So I took a risk and I did it. And I opened up the Northern Ohio Business Center, which graciously Kent and your group, you guys come to twice a month. From there, I opened up that. That led me to a second location in Strongsville, not only 6 months later. So I doubled the size and took it out there. So we have a location out there. So kept doing that. Had a great office to work out of. Another thing came around in full circle. The individual who I worked with in the cafes when I opened up my cafes in downtown Cleveland, he ultimately became the owner of Arabica Coffee House. And I'm sure if you guys have heard that, it was a Starbucks before Starbucks in Cleveland. We had over 40 locations. And when he got involved, he actually took the menu from that cafe and put it with Arabica and tweaked some things and continued that relationship there, realized they weren't doing a great job. So he ended up taking it over. Well, in the meantime, he went on and they have over 100 some locations still overseas, where there's only a couple left in Cleveland. He's been focusing a lot overseas, and we want to bring it back in. So we decided, hey, after COVID, things changed. What if we put an express model inside the gym and offer gourmet coffees in the gym and smoothies and prep foods, that we can have this and still keep that Arabica name, but size it down as an Arabica Express. So we talked about it. We said, let's go for it. I put one there. We put one in the Strongsville location in the co-working center. And then we're looking to license those out. We have 2 that are in Cleveland Hopkins as well. So another business model came about. And I'll put this on the screen in a second as far as the website. Next thing came about is everything that I've done. I've been fortunate to do. I get questions all the time as far as, hey, can you tell me this and share this? I was talking to a friend of mine and that I've known from Valley Total Fitness 20 plus years ago. We stayed connected and he was kind of going through the same things. He said, hey, what if we do like a coaching kind of business, but not just your typical, I want to do one-on-one coaching. What if we had a community where we brought a community together, where we offer services as far as resources, meetings, calls, networking events, outings, workshops, and put that together and have more of a coaching style community. And then from there, we could break off and do one-on-one or group sessions, things like that. So we started looking at that, and I'll pull these up for you real quick. Can I share my screen here? Yeah.
Yeah, you should be able to, David.
Yeah, cool.
All right, I can see it.
Got it? Okay. So along the way too, I started writing some books, started doing some podcasting, started doing my own podcast from another friend of mine, Andras. We networked together, and he offered me a spot on his podcasting. Then he said, hey, we'd love to put you in a book. So we wrote a book together, did a couple other books. But here's some of the businesses that we work together now with. Northern Ohio Business Center. Again, those are our co-working spaces. The Ohio Gym, that is a fitness center, which once was World Gym. Fortunately, I parted ways with them and decided to do my own brand, which I still love the World Gym name and what it was represented years and years and years ago. I just thought it was beneficial for our own name, which is now the Ohio Gym. Life Sync Coaches, that's our coaching business. And obviously Arabica Express, what we talked about. So a lot going on there, right? And again, podcasting we started doing, you can find all the podcasts on Spotify or Apple, whatnot. Let me turn that off for us. Stop sharing. Okay. So that's a little bit about myself. It's a long put, somewhat relatively short. Reason I wanted to share with you guys that journey and how everything happened kind of goes into what I wanted to discuss with you guys. And I hope this helps and can ask me if there's something I'd like to touch upon. Really, the thing that has helped me the most, and a lot of times I get asked, like, what do you think it is? What can I do different? For me, it all started with mindset. It started with a thought or an idea. And a lot of those, it was an opportunity that came in front of me. If my mindset wasn't there, and I didn't know this, I mean, this took me a little bit to get to, but looking back, if my mindset wasn't strong, if my mindset wasn't right, I wouldn't have had anything or the ability to do anything that I'm doing currently. I really believe that mindset is a foundation for everything. When I got those thoughts and when I got those ideas or when I got the opportunities presented to me, I thought about it. And the first thing I said is, one, do I have a passion for it? Can I do this? Do I want to do it? And the first thing I knew I needed to have was a burning desire. And that's my mindset going forward. If I'm into something, I'm in it. I'm in it to win it. And there's nothing else that's going to hold me back. I have to have that burning desire. I have to know this is what I want to do. If I don't have that burning desire, it's not going to get me up in the morning. It's not going to keep me pressing. It's not going to matter what my number is. It's not going to keep me passionate. It's not going to keep my drive. So I have to have that burning desire. The second thing I looked at is if I know this is what I'm going to do and I'm going to do it, I have to believe it with 110% of everything I have, every thought, every being. I have to have an unwavering faith that I know I'm going to succeed at this. And there's no option. Are there going to be learning experiences along the way? Absolutely. But in the end, if that's my goal, I'm going to do it. And if it leads me to another thing, that wouldn't have led me to the other thing if I didn't believe it and see it and know I was going to do it. So I needed that burning desire. I need that unwavering faith. And then the third thing I needed is I needed to take action. So many people think and say, well, I pray, I talk, I hope it's going to get there. I think about it all the time. If you don't do anything about it, you're not going to get anything. So you have to bust your butt. You have to go out there and work, right? So those are the three things I know I needed. And all that started with the mindset. Again, your mindset's everything. I need that burning desire. I need to have that unwavering faith, and I needed to take action. A couple things, how to be disciplined. With those and with that mindset, I needed to be disciplined. And discipline to me was making sure my mindset is correct and my mindset stays focused the majority of times. It's nice to take a break and relax, but the majority of the time, I have to have the strong mindset, and I have to be disciplined on doing that. I have to be willing to self-educate myself and learn from my experiences. That's part of the mindset as well. Some of these things that I'll talk on next is just kind of segments from, I have an ebook out there about mindset, and this is some of this. So I just wanted to touch on it a little bit with that, if that's all right with you guys.
Absolutely.
Cool. First and foremost, neuroscience research shows that our thoughts can physically reshape our brains. And I'm sure you guys have heard this before, like thoughts are things. Seeing to me is not believing. Believing is seeing. The more you have in the mind, the more positive you are, the more focused you are, the more determined you are. And to keep that repetitive, it does change our thought process. It changes our brains. It changes the shape of how we think of things, how we look at things, how we handle things, and how we live. We have to have a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset. So a fixed mindset is a mindset that says, I'm not going to do something because I think I'm going to fail. Or this is too hard, I'm not going to do it. Or I don't believe I can do it. That's a fixed mindset. A growth mindset is someone that sees opportunities and someone that thinks they can do it. And there's a possibility we can do it. And why not? Let's go do it. But I need that burning desire. I need to have that faith, and I need to take action. So have that growth mindset. Always look for things as an opportunity. Some things may not pan out. That's okay. Some things may pan out. That's great. But there's also a balance of what do you want? Is this a passion of yours? Is it going to have that burning desire? But have that growth mindset. Start working. And again, this is part of being that discipline, is start looking at your thoughts and start understanding your thoughts, being conscious of those thoughts. Because when you can see the opportunity to have that growth mindset, and when you see yourself saying, I don't know if I want to do that, you got to be aware. You got to be conscious of that and change it. Along the way, and I know there's a lot of business owners here and people in maybe higher end executive positions, and even if on a daily, if in life or in work or no matter what you do, whether life is with your relationships, with your kids, with your parents, recognize the success you've had. Makes all the difference in the world. No matter how small they are, you have to start recognizing that you do and you have and you can do successful things. You have had success. You've completed things. You completed a task. That's a success. Again, no matter how small something is, appreciate that, recognize that's something you can do. If you start thinking like that, your brain will say, well, I could do something else. And you take on another task, or you set another goal and you achieve another goal. You start looking at those little things and recognize that you're not such a bad person, or you're not a failure, or you didn't do this, or I didn't get this. That doesn't matter. What matters is you did succeed here. You did get this task accomplished. You were able to get this done. The more you start thinking about that again, the more it's going to grow and grow and grow from that. So that'll help put you on that path to more success. Right? Next, appreciate the learning opportunities. There's so many things along the way, which all of us, and this is in my podcast, I talk to people who kind of scale their business. And it doesn't matter if it's your business or someone else's business or life in general. We all scale something, whether it's life, whether it's ourselves for our business or someone else's business. With scaling and with growing and with success, comes those failures. I like to call them learning experiences or learning opportunities. No matter where that takes you, if something doesn't go your way, there's a reason it didn't go your way. It's up to us to learn that and understand that. And it's up to us to say, can I do it differently to make it better? Can I learn from whether it was a mistake or a failure or whatever you call it? Can I learn from it? One, you have to accept the things you cannot change. Right? So there's some things I just can't control. What I can control is my mindset and my attitude. Those are the things really ultimately that you're the one person 100% of the time in control of. You are in control of your attitude and your mindset. So if I do fail, am I going to set myself up and my thoughts going to be like, oh, I'm a failure, I didn't do this, and be negative about it? Or can I be positive about it? Can I appreciate those learning opportunities? Can I take a look at it and learn and grow from that? Again, that's also part of that growth mindset. So as we keep going, all this filters in, it just comes down to the same thing, that strong, positive mindset. Next, I want to talk about visualization. Sorry, I said it earlier. I need to believe it before I see it. Visualization means when you have that burning desire and you know you want to do something, and even if it's a goal for the month, and I set monthly goals in one of my businesses for sales goals, and I have to hit a number. That number in my mind is set. I turn that off. I know without a shadow of a doubt, I'm going to hit that number. I know without a shadow of a doubt, I'm going to hit this goal. And when I hit that goal, I need to visually see myself hitting that goal, what it's going to feel like, what it's going to smell like, how you're going to understand it, how you're going to, everything, every emotion has to be there to know when you hit it. So in my mind, I'm constantly thinking that visualization of when I see myself hitting that goal, or when I accomplish this, or whatever the situation may be. I see it, I feel it, I stand a little taller, I feel a little better, I'm taking deeper breaths, I'm feeling good. I feel all those things you want to feel. And you want to take time there. You want to feel this, and you want to do this, and you want to visualize constantly. Every day, take some time to visualize. Again, you get that set. All the other stuff will come into play, right? Again, those learning opportunities will be there. All that stuff's part of it. But you got to feel that. You got to know. You got to visualize that. Make sense? All right. Next, cool. And I'm telling you, I've heard this time and time before, and I now sound like some of those books or some of those people I spoke about. But when you live it, when you learn it, and ultimately when you can look back and say, does this fit in my life some way, somehow? All this can fit in your life currently. It's just keep pushing it and being aware of it and conscious of it and keep doing it. But one of the things we do is reprogram our negative thoughts, right? If we continue to have those negative thoughts, that's going to be the norm. Our mind is just naturally going to take the easy route. Human nature takes the easy route. Nobody wants to go out there and do anything hard. And that's also with our mindset. Our mind is easy to say, I don't want to do that. There's fear. There's, I don't think I'll do that. And just, it's easier to sit back. Well, we got to change that. We got to reprogram it. So again, you have to be conscious about that, because when you set the norm as being, I'm going to do it and I'm going to win and I'm going to succeed and I'm going to overcome and I'm going to have a better mindset, those are the programming thoughts you want. It's not going to be easy in the beginning, just like anything else. Mindset is the exact same way. It's not easy changing it. It's not easy always thinking about it. But once you get into the conscious and you start working on it, ultimately that'll go in your subconscious and it'll be like riding a bike. You don't even have to think about it. Biggest area I like to talk about is being grateful. Have that attitude of gratuity. Practice daily gratuity. Be grateful of the things you have. Be grateful of the things you were able to accomplish. Be grateful of the things that you don't have any control of. I don't have control of air, but I have air to breathe. Those are the things that I don't naturally control, but it's there. Be grateful of all of those things. Be grateful for the successes, the family, the friends, the relationships. Practice daily gratitude thoughts. I wake up every day and say, I'm grateful for this. Thank you for giving me this. And at the end of the night, I thank it again. And whether that's whatever higher being you may have, your universe, your God, your higher being, practice some gratitude and be grateful for the things you were able to do and the things you're able to have. Studies do show it increases dopamine and serotonin levels, which that means is you can handle stress better, lowers anxiety and depression. But more importantly, it puts it in the universe out there that you're grateful, you're humble, and I firmly believe more of that will come to you with ultimately helping other people. You serve the higher power, you serve other people, and it'll come back to you. Another area I like to talk about is be careful of who you hang around. Thoughts are things, but other people's thoughts can become your things as well. So if I hang around negative people all the time, if I hang around people that are not driven, that are not positive, that always find the bad in everything, chances are your mindset's going to be just like that. So be around people like this. And if you have the opportunity as many times as you can, be a part of these groups. And I know these webinars and where you can Zoom is great, and luckily we're not COVID anymore, but I tell you, when you're involved in the events and you're around the people and see them and touch them and feel, shake hands, that's a whole different experience. And when you can understand them a little bit more because you're face to face and you can have an emotion there and you see the nonverbals, and it's so incredible to be around people that are driven, people that have ideas and thoughts like you, or people who are looking to seek advice from you, or you could share your path, and that'll help other people. Be careful around who you're around. So attach yourself with people that you would inspire to be, and attach yourself around people that have those same type of passions. And get physical. That's one thing I want to talk about. Get physical. Thoughts are affected by your physical health, but your physical health can also affect your thoughts. So my thoughts, if they're positive, I'm going to feel better. I'm going to live a little bit better. I'm going to have a little bit more, again, stress levels come down, anxiety levels come down, depression comes down. If I think about my failures, if I think about, oh, I don't think I could do this, or I could get past this, or, oh, this is happening again, or, oh, woe is me. Well, chances are your health is going to suffer. Your physical health is also going to suffer. After a period of time, it's naturally going to break you down. So do everything you can. Again, keep your mindset going. Keep that positive. Get physical. Get in the gym. Get working out. Get exercise. Take a walk. You don't even have to go into a gym. Go outside. Take 30 minutes a day and just walk. Do something active. Get those levels up. Get those endorphins going. When you get that somewhat high from your body moving and feeling better, your thoughts become better. You think clearer. You can stay more positive. So I encourage you guys to do that. I could share this all with you because this is what I do. This is what I've done. It has taken me a long time to kind of figure all this out. And although this may sound like another, book you may have read, I thought the exact same thing too. And then when I really started putting everything on paper and looking at my life and seeing all the opportunities that I've been blessed to have, things that did not go my way, things that do go my way, things that I'm excited for in the future, ultimately it has come down to this, and it comes down to the mindset. Remember, my mindset is the foundation for everything. I truly, firmly believe that, but it's up to you to create what type of mindset do you want to have. Do you want to have that positive, successful, go forth mindset, or you want to have that I can't get anywhere mindset? So that's your choice. My door is always open if you ever want to chat or talk. Again, you have my website. You can feel free to contact me. I'm always either at the gym or at the co-working center. So I'm there, and share a cup of coffee with you or a smoothie, and answer any questions you may have. But hey, Ken, I hope I was not long-winded and I take a little bit. I hope that kind of touched on some things, but thank you again very, very much for
no, thank you, David. There's so much that you covered in the short period of time. So that was fantastic. We do have a few questions for you. One of the things personally that I've experienced is knowing that, align yourself with people that you want to be like or where you want to go. And so there have been times in my life when I have had people that, I hung around with a lot that weren't driven. And I find that, because I am a driven person, but yet my goals and things like that and the focus definitely tends to get blurred when you hang around those. So do you have mentors or mastermind or accountability groups then that you're a part of?
I do, and have been in the past. And I'll tell you, one of the biggest groups that I've enjoyed, and unfortunately, I just haven't connected back with them ever since COVID, and I need to get back with it. But it was a group called EO. Have you ever heard of Entrepreneur Organization?
Yes.
Love it. So their accelerator program, it's for people just kind of starting out in business. And once you hit another level in business, you go to the EO. That was one of the best programs that I thought for business owners, because it is, and I've gotten myself in times where it's like, I don't feel I could talk to anybody because my thoughts and I'm trying to build these businesses, and that's not some of the normal people that I was around. So I needed to get myself and to experience other people's life lessons that they can help me accelerate, So That was a fantastic tool. Again, businessing networks like this is so key, and when you get the opportunity to share, what I've done, or, what's doing great for me now, what didn't do great for me last month, and how I can share those experiences, it helps so much.
Fantastic. So what would you say is your biggest learning experience?
So there's probably quite a few in business right now. It's looking at, so many people say, well, you open up another location, will you do this? Landlord discussions have been a big learning experience. And so on that side, that is a big key for me. And ultimately, if I'm doing a brick and mortar, do I even want to lease a building? If I could go back now and say, hey, if you're getting into this, you do everything you can to own your own building. So that has been a key thing. My thing with myself is I tend to jump in things too fast. And I'm that person that welcomes all the learning experiences, the learning opportunities. So you don't always have to do that, and you don't have to jump in that quick. Let's think about some things. Let's plan some things out. That's been a big learning experience for me.
All right. You mentioned that for a period of time there, you were working over 100 hours a week and obviously getting burned out doing that. So today, what would you consider or describe your work-life balance? What does that look like? Because you still are doing a whole lot of things.
I am, I've grown. It's a very good question. And I get this all the time, especially from other business individuals who are trying to create more businesses. Is I've learned to be a lot more efficient. And there's so many, obviously, tools now that can help you do that. And just my processes have gotten so much better, where I don't spend so much time on unnecessary things. So I can still, now at the same time, my wife is pretty demanding, and we just got 2 new puppies, and I mean, I have to, no matter what, I have to make that work. So, you had to find that balance, and it is making sure things are run more efficiently. And ultimately, it doesn't come without the staff that I have. And in some of my other ventures, it's in businesses. If I don't have the right people, I can't make things work. I can't do it all myself. So a lot of that has been, is the training aspect, and that's gotten more efficient, and how I hold people accountable and how they hold me accountable. All of that has played a role.
All right, fantastic. One last question. I'm actually currently writing a book on AI and how to make your business more efficient using AI. Are you utilizing AI in any of your businesses? And if so, how?
Absolutely. So one of the biggest tools I use for AI now is a company called Sintra, SINTRA.ai. It is absolutely incredible. It has 12 bots that focus on, one's just on copywriting, one's just on sales, one's just on wellness, one's just on social media, one's just on SEO. And each of these does every portion of my programming. It's amazing.
That's
so
fantastic.
Outside the AI, I mean, I set up the co-working centers, pretty much AI, self-sufficient. I mean, it's hands-off. And you need it. You have to either jump on board or you're gonna get passed by. So you have to have it.
Well, thank you, David. Obviously, you've had an amazing journey. I'm grateful that you were able to join and share us all those mindset tips with our audience. And I'm excited to see what you continue to do in the future. So
yeah,
thank you for being here with us. And every month we have a webinar on the first Thursday at noon. So next month's webinar is going to be on focusing on recent compliance changes. So we'll be covering information on PCI, HIPAA, NIST, CSF, CIS, and CGIS. So this is really a topic that any organization can benefit from. You can register for that event on the website at bbbng.org. And if you want to join us in person, our next meeting is the 10th. And David will also be there as well in person to talk more about mindset. So come join us in person there at the NOBC. And thank you for joining. Have a great day.